Midday Live, Lawrence Vaughn, Dr. Drew. Our number is 800-222-5222. Right now, we're going to go out to Lane Mendelson, president of Vantagepoint, and also technology expert, market analyst. Lane, welcome to the program.
Hey, Dr. Drew, how you doing?
We are good. We're going to talk a little Cyber Monday.
A little.
Yeah, I guess it was did it exceed expectation was my first question.
I've already dropped $1,000. Exceeded my
Lauren
expectations.
has exceeded my expectations. But it was at prediction or above?
Well, they don't have all the numbers in yet, but what they already do know is that it has exceeded last year's numbers by a tremendous amount. I think it's just under $8 billion that will be consumed and taken in on Cyber Monday, which is up nearly 18% from last year. So that's a big deal. And it's not over yet. People are not even talking about it as Cyber Monday. This is kind of morphed into Cyber Week. So there's a lot more for the retail companies to really pump themselves back up. They've been hit pretty hard over the last month or so.
How have they been hit hard?
Well, if you look at all the retailers just across the board, you look at Macy's and Kohl's and Walmart.
Oh, the brick and mortar retailers.
Even Amazon. Look what's happened to Amazon. They've all been hit. What's interesting, though, is if you look at the charts, and this is all I do. I look at charts. I use the data, and I don't like to rely on what I think or feel, but what I see. For a good part of the year, the retailer stocks have been doing very well. If you look at the retail ETF, XRT, it was moving up really nicely. It was right in sync with the Dow until about the end of August, and then everything just changed. It really started to drop, and then after that, of course, the overall markets dropped. But even when the markets started going up, the retailers still were going down. So I think a lot of people were really nervous that maybe we're not going to see that nice jump we typically see this time of year. But that clearly wasn't the case. It's done very well, and also the big news to report is that over $2 billion of product was bought and consumed on smartphones this year, which was a record.
Jeez.
Well, yeah.
One of the things I think I'm seeing this year, and you tell me if I'm right or if it's just part of an evolution that's been trending, which is that it seemed to me there was a certain amount of reluctance / fear / lack of enlightened view on the part of brick and mortar retailers to really lean into their online sales and their online stores. And I feel like now they're open to it. It's like before, I think they felt like, well, we're going to compete with, what are we going to do if they buy it online and don't go into our Target? But I think now they've capitulated to the fact that is an insane attitude. Am I wrong?
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. And I do think that it was kind of maybe an old school way of thinking, like we need the foot traffic. But as foot traffic has decreased, that's been more than offset by the online sales that they've seen. And so I think everyone's really starting to see just by the data from the numbers, hey, we're not giving up anything. In fact, you could make the argument that when people are shopping online, they're more apt to spend more. It's easier to just click buy. It's less, painful, so to speak, to see the money coming out of your wallet.
Yeah.
So I think that, any of those companies that were feeling that reluctance, which you're absolutely right they were, they've seen that that's not a concern. And I think a lot of companies need to be, if they aren't already, they need to be thinking about beefing up their infrastructure for more online sales as this trend continues.
What of your store that knows that mostly everything you carry can be found on Amazon? Because when I hear Cyber Monday, I just hear Amazon because, whenever I go to buy a product, do I want to go through their crappy website that's slow and can't guarantee my shipping on, the same way that, or if it's available on Amazon, why wouldn't I just go there?
Yeah, I think that's a great question, Lauren. And I think a lot of people feel that way. But based on the numbers, you look at all the retail stocks today, you look at Walmart, Best Buy, Kohl's, you name it, they're all up and they all have been seeing increased sales. So, yes, there is always that opportunity or that chance that someone says, hey, why should I go there? I can go here. But people are, their wallet share is being shared across various retailers. They're not so loyal to, let's say, an Amazon that they won't shop elsewhere.
Right.
The fact of the matter is, I live in Tampa, Florida. I'm in New York City right now with my family. We were in the American Girl doll store.
Oh, boy.
And,
I'm sorry.
Buckle up.
Yeah. Thank you. I've got 2 daughters, and that's
that's a fortune.
Oh my
You're going to
God.
need to get another mortgage.
Yeah, and set up a tent in there. So hang on.
The but the line was out the door. People were spending money.
Yeah.
You think they were giving them away for free.
There is something, though, about shopping for children. Children like to see and feel and touch things.
Yes, and we like to see their delight and all that and see what they really want. Lane, hang on a second. I got to take a little break.
On Amazon.
Yeah, you can't do that, right?
We have to take a little break here. Speaking of cyber, do you have a website?
Yeah, absolutely. It's for our Vantagepoint software. It's VantagepointSoftware.com.
Hold on one second. We're going to keep this conversation going. I want to think more about the cannibalization by Amazon and what the brick and mortar so-called online can do to combat that. And to me, it seems like things like, easier sale, like Lauren, more one-click kinds of things. And I'm not happy with the way Amazon ships. I found an article of my son's in the middle of the street 3 blocks away.
Oh, no, my stuff gets stolen all the time.
So there's an opportunity to really invade or cannibalize a little bit of Amazon's business that way as well. We'll be back with Lane Middleton. It's Lawrence Vaughn, Dr. Drew. This is Midday Live. It is Midday Live. Lawrence Vaughn, Dr. Drew. Our number is 800-222-5222. We're speaking with Lane Mendelson, president of Vantagepoint Technology. And we are discussing Cyber Monday. And my question, Lane, before the break was, there's things about Amazon that are not making me happy. And are retail outlets looking at that as any sort of opportunity for them in the retail online space?
Yeah, I think they are. And I think one of the things that the retail companies can do to compete with the likes of Amazon is, I really like what Apple has done in terms of creating like these environments where you can come in. There's no real pressure to buy something, but you can have a nice experience. You can learn more about the product that you're thinking of buying, have a nice interaction with someone who works for that organization. And then at that point in time, you may decide to purchase it in store, or you may walk away and then go online. And this goes back to what we were speaking about earlier, but then go back online and purchase from that company, knowing that they took the time to show you the technology or whatever the product happened to be. You had a good experience. And so I think if the retailers can kind of shift from just come into our store and buy something to educate and give a positive experience, have a positive interaction, I think then consumers will be more apt and likely to buy from them versus going to Amazon, for example.
It's interesting. It's like they really are becoming like showrooms rather than stores.
Yeah, they are. In a lot of ways, they are. I mean, oftentimes I go to see it in person before I just buy it online.
Right, and so if you go and you see it in person and you have a positive experience, you're gonna. That's how brands can build loyalty, and that's where people will say, well, maybe I could get it a little bit cheaper here, but you know what? I have a relationship with that company or that brand, and I think that's how companies can build more loyalty.
As it pertains to all the buying that's going on online, do we avoid sales tax at Amazon as well as these retail stores, and is that being eroded in certain states? What's going on with sales tax?
Well, that's something that is changing. The laws are always changing. Before there was so much e-commerce happening, that wasn't something that was really considered. But a lot of states are looking at online purchases no differently than in-store purchases. And so, it's something that's evolving. It's something that's changing. But I know that certain states have already said, regardless of whether you bought it in-store or online, each state has their own, appropriate sales tax, and those will be applied to online sales as well. And, it's just something that's evolved. There was a point in time where there was literally $0.0 being spent online. We've seen that change, obviously, over time. And so with that, new ramifications, new plans, new thoughts have to be put in place to deal with those types of things.
But no difference between an Amazon, which is multinational, versus, say, a local New York company that you buy online from today, where you are.
Yeah, it's being looked at on a state-by-state basis, so I'm not specifically aware of what Amazon is doing or how they're handling that, but I can envision that in the future, it's going to be across the board, whether it was in-store, brick and mortar, or online. Hey, a sale's a sale, and you pay tax on sales.
That's what you would think. However, the way moneyed interest manipulates our representatives in government, I worry that Amazon will have undue influence. You know what I mean? That your Macy's, when you buy, online in New York.
Well, they're putting companies out, so,
Yeah, well, it's one of those things that's evolving. We kind of have to wait and see how that all plays out.
Before we let you go, though, I have to ask you, your best deals for Cyber Monday. Like, you're the profesh. Where do you go first? What stores do you always hit on Cyber Monday?
The doll store.
American Doll Store. I mean, that's really if you have deep pockets and your kids have been really good this year, because those things are pricey.
Yeah. I look at it from a couple different perspectives. One, I look for products that I'm interested in, But as an investor, as a trader, I'm really more than looking for cyber deals on products. I'm looking for what stocks are going to be giving me gifts in return. So I'll tell you a few stocks that I think are good companies that people should really keep a close eye on. I'll tell you that our software made predictions on November the 20th. So if you go back and look at that date, that the retail sector as a whole was going to start to increase. This is when a lot of people were feeling like that wasn't going to be the case given the state of the overall stock market. But our software, using its AI pattern recognition, said the retail stocks will go up. And specifically, it pointed out Target, Best Buy, Kohl's, Macy's, and just the sector as a whole. And that's, as I mentioned, XRT. So if anyone's looking for some, it's not too late, but if anyone's looking for some cyber deals on stocks that look like they will give you a nice return and give you gifts for the holidays, I'd be looking at retail stocks and also the tech stocks. We've been forecasting, even though a lot of people have been kind of poo-pooing the tech stocks, they're overbuying. Look, a couple of days ago we said tech stocks were going to start to go up, and look what today happened. I mean, the Dow had a tremendous day today, and we're at a point in time where the market has erased all of the gains that it generated this year. Mm-hmm. We're back in correction territory on the S&P for the second time this year, which hasn't happened in my lifetime. I think the last time that happened was back in the 1940s.
And you see that as opportunity.
Absolutely.
All right,
absolutely.
Lane, we're going to wrap it there.
Thanks, Lane.
We appreciate it, and we will talk to you soon, I hope.
Thanks, Lauren. Thanks, Dr. Drew.
Thanks, Lane Mendelsohn. It's Midday Live.